Every school has its rituals. The ring of the final bell, the scraping of chairs, the shuffle of feet toward freedom. At Madison Middle School, the sound of that bell meant safety. Until it didn't. Room E was always colder than the rest of the building. The air never moved. Even in summer, it felt like the vents exhaled something stale and ancient. Mr. Halden stood at the window. Every day, he never looked at us when we entered, never greeted us, just stood, motionless, watching the field behind the school where the grass had stopped growing years ago. No one remembered when he started teaching. No photo in the staff directory. No plaque on the door. His name was written on the board once, but it never changed, never faded. The chalk was white, but left behind a red residue when erased. No one questioned it, not out loud. Each day followed the same pattern. He never used textbooks, never handed out assignments. He simply spoke. Dry facts, numbers that didn't belong to this curriculum. Strange symbols we weren't taught to read. No one interrupted. Something about his voice made interruption feel dangerous. The real horror began after the bell rang. Every other classroom exploded with movement. Into E, no one moved, not until he did, and he never did. He stood still as the shrill electric chime echoed through the hallway. Every day, the bell rang. He stared out the window. Minutes passed. The silence grew heavy, almost solid. Then students would slowly, carefully, gather their belongings and file out, eyes down, breath held. On Thursday, that changed. The bell rang, loud and final, but something was wrong. No one moved. Desks remained filled. Hands froze mid-pack. I felt it too. That weight. Like something had settled over us. The air turned sharp, full of dust that wasn't there before. Mr. Halden turned from the window. For the first time, his eyes were pale, like glass filled with smoke. He walked, slowly, to the center of the room. The light dimmed as he passed beneath each fixture. The clock read 3:16, but I swear I heard a ticking that didn't belong. He stopped and faced the class. No one breathed. The corners of the room grew darker, shadows no longer aligned with their sources. A low vibration began, somewhere deep beneath the floor. Not a sound, but a pressure behind the eyes. It pulsed. Once, twice, he stepped to the door. He didn't open it. He knocked. The walls responded. A sound like echoing would ring out, but deeper, older, like a coffin being tapped from inside. Then the door opened, but it didn't reveal the hallway. It showed another room, an exact copy of ours. Same desks, same chalkboard, same window. Except everything was wrong. The light was greenish and sickly. The windows showed nothing but dense, pulsing fog. And the desks were full, with us, or things shaped like us. Each student had a duplicate, but their movements were broken, jagged, as if held together by muscle memory alone. One twitched constantly, another bent backward, neck to long. Another smiled, impossibly wide. The version of me sat perfectly still, except the head was tilted, listening, as if aware. The pressure grew worse. My thoughts scattered. My limbs felt unfamiliar. The room no longer smelled like dust and paper, but rot and bleach. I wanted to move, to scream, to leave, but my body refused. There was something anchoring us, something old, something behind his eyes. Then the door closed. The pressure vanished, the color returned. The windows showed the empty field again, but the silence remained. No one dared to look at the clock. No one dared to speak. Something had shifted, permanently. A line had been crossed. The next day, one desk was gone, not empty, gone. No marks on the floor, no impression, like it had never existed. The student who once sat there was never mentioned again. His name didn't appear on rosters. His locker stood empty, its number scratched out. We tried to convince ourselves it was just a transfer, but we knew better. Each day after, the same routine repeated. He never resumed the lesson, just stared, sometimes at the window, sometimes at the ceiling. Once, He stared directly at me for the full 43 minutes. I counted every second. My vision blurred. My hands went numb. No one leaves early now. No one packs their bags before the bell. Some students close their eyes when it rings, as if hoping the darkness will protect them. Others whisper prayers they don't believe, but none of it matters, because the bell, and for him, it's a signal, not of dismissal, but of containment. A warning to us, not him. It rings to let us know the hour is over, to remind us there's still time to run. But only if we're fast, only if we don't look back. One day, the bell won't ring, and when that happens, we'll know he's ready to teach his real lesson. The one that doesn't end, and doesn't let you leave.